So we're starting PowerPoint 3, which we hope to look something like, see where I saved that image, something like this. We're going to have 4 slides, doing a little extra with some word art, bringing in an image enhancements with some special effects, bulleted list, you've seen this before, but we're going to be animating the word art. You've seen some animation where paragraphs will come in one at a time. We're going to bring in videos. You can actually have videos that play either on click or automatically when the page comes up. And just like an image, we can add special effects to that. We're going to learn how to insert the video and trim it, meaning we can decide where in the video we play. Bringing in a pie chart and adjusting the position and the appearance of the pie chart. And also bringing in a table with some enhancements. This table can actually be an Excel spreadsheet, but we're just going to create a table and enter data into it. And then beyond this, what's in the book, we will also be enhancing graphics where you can click on a shape, or you click and a shape moves across the screen. It can be very helpful for getting the attention of your viewers, or just making it more interesting. So that's what we're heading for now. We're going to start with a blank presentation and then apply a theme to it, and then even adjust the master pages in our theme. So let's get started. Start a new PowerPoint. Blank presentation. Well, let's make sure. I think we're using a blank presentation. Let me sure. Yes, we're going to start, and then we're going to apply a theme. I wanted to make sure that we weren't starting with a template, because remember, with a template, you have to choose it here, because the theme may be gone, or you can't do as much with themes than if you had a template with a lot of graphics built in. So we're going to start with a blank one. And before we do anything, let's choose the theme that we're going to use on this. I like this idea first. Remember, you can always choose your theme later, but choosing it now, make sure you know where things are placed. So on the Design tab, we're looking for the Wisp theme. A little grassy on the left, and grayish greenish. Where's our Wisp theme? It's in here somewhere. Looking for Wisp theme. Here it is. I think that's it. Yep. Way down towards the bottom. Wisp. Choose that. And remember, when you choose a theme, you have on your layout, you have multiple styles that come with that theme. And each of those with the theme places things in certain spots. And that's why it's good to have know what your theme is first, because sometimes the themes shrink the available area, and if you have an image or something, you might have to adjust it if you choose a different theme. This one uses a lot of the left side of your screen, so if you had a slide, if you had a presentation, lots of things on the left side, and you change to the Wisp theme, things might not look so good. So we're going to now start our presentation, and we're going to choose a title and content layout instead of title. This is title slide. We want to change this to title and content. To do that, I come up here and choose layout, and I can apply the title and content format to the slide I'm on, just like I could choose any other format, and it will move my placeholders around. If I have less placeholders than I had at first, it might erase some data or hide some data, but if I come back, I should see it. Now we're going to put in our title. We're going to oh, I guess we're not going to have a title on this slide. We're just going to insert a chart here. So we can remove this or just ignore it. I typically just leave it sitting there knowing that there's a placeholder. If that placeholder being there bothers you, you can click on it and delete it. You could shrink it and move it off the slide if you thought maybe I might want it some other time. Or you could just delete it and come back later. I'm going to leave it here hiding over on the side just to know if I ever wanted that back, I have that placeholder. And now we're going to want to insert a chart. I think that's a chart. Yeah, we're going to insert a chart. And the chart icon, hover over each one of these. There's your chart. There is a table or a smart art. There's other things to insert. We're going to insert a chart. And what we're going to do with that chart is insert a chart of a type of a pie chart. Well, where do we get pie charts? Here we go, right here. We got choice of a pie chart. Lots of other charts that we could choose from. And I believe we can change our chart type once we have it. But let's go a pie chart. And the style of pie chart is not going to be just a flat pie chart. We want a slight 3D-ish pie chart. And then I click OK. So bringing in a pie chart, it fits it in that box that was the placeholder. That's the nice thing about placeholders. And it pops up a table for what data we want to go into our pie chart. And let's insert some data. It's going to have to do with sleep. So we're just going to replace the data with our designations for our particular presentation. We're talking about sleep. So in this chart, I'm going to grab that column and stretch it over by grabbing the little border between the columns. And I'm going to replace this name here by just clicking on that and clicking 5 sleep stages. 5 sleep stages. And the data we're going to put in here is stage 1. Click here, stage 1, and just type stage 1. And I can arrow over or arrow down. I'm going to arrow down and put stage 2 through stage 4. So arrow down, stage 2. Oh, got space there. Stage 2, arrow down, stage 3. Arrow down, stage 4. And just to make it nice and visible, I think I can resize this. Let's see here if it'll let me resize this. Yes. And arrow down one more time. REM. Now, if my chart's going to work out right, I better have data to go with each section of the pie, or my pie chart might not come out right. You see, it's already adjusting my pie chart to meet or to have new labels on the key because I've changed my labels. And we see that there is no color to go with REM. Stage 1 is the largest. We can see because of the numbers we placed there. Now let's put in the data for the sleep stages. Minutes, I think it's either minutes or percentages. Let's see here. 5 for that first stage. Arrow down. 50 for the second stage. 5 for the third stage. 15 for the next stage. And 25. And I believe they add up to 100. So I believe those are percentages of the time spent in each stage in sleep. And look at there, now my pie chart properly displays the sizes of each slice of the pie. Stage 2 now being half of the pie because it's 50%. Pie charts they're most useful for visualizing the proportion of a whole. So like percentages are very good pie chart data candidates because visually you see the size as proportion of the entire. Now, to make this pie chart fit nicely on our page, I can adjust the size of my pie chart. So I can close this table now. If I ever want to visit that table, I can always come back here and visit the data, or that's the elements. I can visit the data for my pie chart. I can always come back here and edit the data. Up pops my chart again. So you can always edit the data after closing it, right up there. Now we'd like to make this particular size pie chart a particular size. I could adjust it by hand and adjust the size. In the textbook, I think they give us a specific size of 4.5 or 6.5 inches by going over to Format and give it a specific height, 6.5. And a width automatically adjusts. Oh, and then let's give it a width of 10.5. We could just manually adjust as well by grabbing the sizing handles. Now, one thing about legends in PowerPoint, I think they're hardly readable. How could you tell what color that is from the back of the room? And by the way, you can see this actually legend is slid off the side of my slide. So I want to move this up. I'm going to use the up arrow. Oh, not that. I'm going to use the up arrow. Oh, I guess I have to have the edge of it selected. Oh, it's just moving really slow. Or I can click and grab my slide and slide it up so I can see the key. Slide it up and align it. And really, we should have chosen our style before aligning it. They would like a slightly different style. Let's see what styles are available in our chart design. So I've adjusted its position. Let's see if when I change the design, whether it makes it fit differently. Going to design, I'm going to hover over the various styles available and just see which one I like. Any of them that makes the key a little clearer, because right now the key is hardly readable. That one, at least I see the title on the piece of the pie. That one gives me the percentages, but it's really hard to tell the color key. Each one of these, that one's not bad. I like the 3D curvy effect. So I prefer either this one with the labels or this one with labels. I'll let you decide. Either the second one or the far to the right one. I've done this one before. Haven't done this one before. I'm going to pick this one. Much better. To me, I like this much better. It's obvious to anyone viewing this what each stage is. That silly key, I don't know who invented the tiny dot of color that no one could read or barely read. Now it's still a little small, I think. If I play this slide, I guess it's sort of visible, but again, not terribly good contrast to actually read those labels. Escape to come back. Now if I ever want to adjust my outline of this, and now we can adjust the pieces of this pie. And here's the tricky part about this. If I click once on a chart, I have the chart selected. If I click again on a slice of the pie, notice that only that slice of the pie is selected. If I click on another piece, that slice of the pie is selected. So clicking once and then clicking off, deselect everything. Click once, the entire chart. Click again, I have that slice of the chart. And whatever I do applies only to that slice. So we would like to apply a border. And what do we want to do here? We want to choose our outline of our pie. So right now I have one slice of the pie selected. I'm going to click off of it and come back and click only once. Now, without clicking again on my slice of the pie, see how there's sizing handles all the way around. Now I want to adjust the borders of my pie. Well, that's not in design, that's over here in the format. Now in the format I can adjust my shape outline. And they would like us, well, let's see, what color goes good. They choose the dark red standard color. And just to make it obvious, let's go to the shape outline and let's make it a little wider. How about, let's see, there's 3, there's 4, there's 6 point. Let's go 6 point on the size of the border. And remember how I did that? Select once and then adjust my border. Let's see what happens if I click twice. And now see I only have this piece of the pie selected. Let's see what happens if I change the outline color now. I believe it will only change on that slice of the pie. So how many times you click makes a difference in what gets affected. So clicking twice, I would have only changed the border of that slice of the pie. And it's not obvious. It took a while for us to figure out why it works that way. Clicking once, entire chart. Okay, and we change the weight of the outline, and we change the color. Now the title is a little small. Let's adjust the size of our title. Again, this has to do with what you click on. I've clicked on the chart once. Now if I click on the title, now only the title is being affected by the next thing I do. And I would like to change the font size of my title. And let's try right-clicking. Right-clicking doesn't show font. Oh, there. Right-clicking font, and I can adjust my font size there. Let's see what we have. Oh, look at I have to type in. Let's make that 30 point. And okay, and see what we get. There it changed the font of the title. I could have gone home page and here changed my font size here as well. And I like the idea that I can see the effect of the font as I go. And let's see if one of my favorite keys, Control Shift greater than. Yes, the Control Shift greater than also lets me adjust my font size. Nice and large and visible. And they would like it to also be Rockwell. Now I don't think there's a shortcut key for that. I come up here to choose my font with that selected, and I change that to Rockwell down in the R's. I could type R and it jumps down to the R's, and here's Rockwell. The labels on my chart, they're not very readable from the back row. Let's see if we can adjust our labels. Let's click once on one label and see how all the labels get selected. Let's adjust the font size there. I'm going to try my Control Shift greater than and see if it works. Yes. Let's adjust my label sizes. I can go crazy large or reasonably readable from that back row. Always keep in mind the people in that back row, they can read your chart. And let's see, I could even adjust the fill of those labels, but I'll leave it as is. So I increase the font size. Let's see, usually you like your fonts to match. I'll leave it at the default Century and won't change it to Rockwell. But I could if I wanted at this point. So clicking and then clicking on a label. If I wanted to change one label again, click again, and now only that one label would get changed if I adjusted its size. So clicking sequence makes a big difference here in PowerPoint. So I've got a chart of my sleep stages, and suppose I don't think I need my, let's see, if I wanted to show my numbers, I do have them in the chart. If you wanted to see the numbers, I could come up here and the plus and click the plus, and whether or not I want to see my data labels, and let's see if I have more. I wanted to see if I could actually see my numbers. Let's try more options. Let's see if I could show, there I can show the value or the percentage in that label. See how I did that? I went to the plus, data labels, arrow, more options. I can choose what gets shown in that label. And I like the idea of showing my percentage as well as the category name. And now, because they got a little larger, I can Control Shift less than and shrink the size of that a bit. Now I can include both the name of the stage and a number. Even though usually with pie charts it's enough that you show the largest portion is this stage 2. If you want to actually see the numbers, remember you can click the plus, adjust your data label options. Knowing how to get this far will put you far ahead of most others in using PowerPoint. Most people know how to draw things, but to know the details and how to get to formatting of those labels, that will put you a little step ahead, above everyone else using PowerPoint. And I'm hoping some of this will give you, that know PowerPoint will give you little extra pointers. Okay, now we would like a new table, a new chart, a new slide in our presentation. And we're going to insert a title with content again. This slide we're good with. Let's insert a title with content now, having to do more with the data regarding our sleep. So this one, I think we're good. Now we're going to go to the home page. We can do new slide. Choose what kind of slide. If we don't choose, I think we'll get the same type of slide that we had recently. So if I just click new slide, I'll get a title with content. And remember, if I didn't want that particular format, I can always now change my layout to something else, blank or another formatted style of slide. This title, let's see, we're going to do the table first and then we'll come back to the title. So we're going to insert a table and we're going to be filling it in. So it's not like a pie chart. We're going to actually insert a table. It's going to look very much like an Excel table that we'll be working on after the midterm. So click here for a table. I have to decide how many columns and rows I want. Change the columns to 2 columns and rows to 5. 2 columns by 5 rows. And I hit enter, or I hit OK. And there's my table ready to fill in some data. It has chosen a default color style to go with my theme. And we'll go with that. And now we'll start entering our data. See if I can zoom in a little here for you. We're going to enter age. And hitting enter, hitting enter doesn't take me down to the next element. I have to use the arrow key to take me down to the next element. 0 to 3 months. Oh, I guess they don't capitalize months. Arrow down, 3 to 5 years. Arrow down, 14 to 17 years. Arrow down, and 18 to 64. And more data in the next column. I could either point and click or arrow over, and this will be minimum hours recommended. Minimum hours of sleep. Arrow down, 14 for those little infants, 10 recommended for toddlers, 8 pretty standard for your teen years, and less needed as you age. So some numbers here, and now let's adjust our style. They like the red is good, but they'd like a different style just for practice. Now that we have our data entered, anytime we're anywhere in the table, I can adjust my table style, and they would like us to choose the style of the 3rd column from the right down towards the medium style 1. About the same as it was, but with the green. Similar shading. Alternate coloring on the rows. Bolded title row. They like to see borders. Even though it has borders, they would like more prominent borders. So with that selected, we can come up here to borders and choose, I think they would like all borders. And let's see the effect of all borders. Oh, for some reason, it only had that cell selected. That's another, let's click on that table once, and let's try that again. All borders, borders, all borders. And it's not, oh, do I have to select through every cell to get border? Let's try selecting through every cell. Let's turn on borders again. I didn't think I would have to do this. There we go. Now we have prominent borders. I thought if I had anything selected, it would do them all, but I have to select the entire set of cells and to apply borders. And it's looking pretty good. Let's zoom out a little bit to see how it would look on our slide. We could even play the slide to see how it's going to look on my screen. It's a little bit boring. Let's make that a little more exciting by adding a little shadow to this chart. And over here I have the chart selected. Let's add a shadow. Over here in Table Design, I can apply effects. Table Design, effects. And there's not a whole lot of effects I can apply to tables, but the shadow is the one we'd like to apply, and the type of shadow they would like is the perspective upper left. See, as I choose perspective, the shadow is going in a different direction. They would like the shadow heading to the upper left. The others, you can see a much more subtle style, upper left. And just for a little bit of extra for you, if I wanted to have complete control, let's go to Effects, Shadow. Way at the bottom, Shadow Options, that extra menu comes up. I have complete control of my shadow here. I could do a completely custom shadow, even I could adjust the shade of my shadow. I could still use those presets that are built in, but I can adjust exactly how large my shadow is, how much blur there is. Lots of fun things I can play with just by grabbing that slider and seeing and some adjustment to that shadow. The angle of the shadow, grab that and you can adjust that. You can adjust how far away it is from my object. The size of the shadow. And if you said, well, wait a minute, let's go back to where it was, I could always go back to the preset perspective. So that More Options menu, that came with the recent version, gives you complete control over all your effects. You don't have to use them. You can still use the built-in effects, but that Shadow Options gives you lots more control. Now I think this slide is going to need a title, and I don't think we're done with all our rows. We realize that we would like to add a row after 18 to 64 years. And to do that, let's see if I can do the tab. I'm going to try the tab at the end of the last row and see if that adds a row. Yes, it does. Another way to do it would be right click, insert. Where's my insert? Oh, there's an insert row somewhere up here. Here, I can do an insert up here if I wanted to. I like the go to the last cell and just hit tab. To me, that's a little friendlier way of adding a row. But sometimes you need to add a row in the middle. That's where you need the layout, insert below, left or right or above. So you have your inserts here. If it's the last row, it's pretty easy. 65 plus for our age. And I'm going to tab or arrow over, and 7 hour recommended for 65 plus. Now entering a column, we want to do that because we could have just done 18 plus here if we just wanted 7 minimum hours from 18 up. We're going to add another column now, and this is where we do need this guy here, because I don't think there's a right click insert column. You can split cells. That's sort of like inserting a column. Let's go ahead and use the insert right column icon right here to insert a column to the right. And now let's put a maximum hours for our heading. And now we have some data for us, given to us from the experts. 17, max, 13, 10, 9, and 8. So there is a difference, 18 to 64. because of the recommended maximum hours. So as you get really old, you want to be little less variation in your amount of sleep. Now this table, as we play our slide, it's kind of just sitting right in the middle, a lot of white space around it. To enlarge that, I can simply grab a sizing handle on the bottom and stretch it out, and it automatically stretches my rows to be distributed nicely. If I had a specific size I wanted, remember I can always come up to here under layout and wait a minute, it's not showing my size. It's not showing that size. Oh, there's the size. I was expecting it over here like before. Here I can give it an exact size if I want. In the book they have it exactly 4 inches tall and 6.5 inches wide. Once I hit tab or hit enter, it will fit my table. I don't know, I think 6.5 is kind of small. I'm going to stretch that out. I'll go back to maybe 7.5 or 8. You can do it to taste. If I want it exactly centered on my slide, I can align it using my alignment. Where's my alignment choices? Underneath align. There it is. I can use align. I could align it center, right, center that. But centering I don't think is right because of this whole wisp thing. It's kind of encroaching on the grass. I'm going to pull to the right a little bit. Because of our theme, there ought to be a way to center it in the main graphic. Here I'm centering it with my title. When that little line that popped up was because I'm centered with the title placeholder above me. And I think that's a better position than center of the slide. Now we need a title for sleep requirements. Is our title. And before I leave this slide, I've realized I've done a lot of work and I have not saved my document yet. Let's do a save so we know where to find this. Control S. I'm going to save it in my cs101 homework folder. It remembers, for me anyway. If it doesn't for you, browse to where you want it saved, and I'm going to call it JSmart PPT3 Sleep. And now I have it saved if I ever need to go back to this point. I've done a lot of work without saving it yet, so I should have saved it a lot sooner. Let's see here. Now we would like to insert a text box indicating the source of our data. And to do that, there's multiple ways. I can go to the Insert menu, or I have this little drawing menu already on my Home tab, and there's a little tiny square with a letter in it. I click on that, and now I can go draw. Click on it, and now I can go draw a text box. My little upside down cross shows up, and I can draw a text box and just start typing source. I'll zoom in for you here. Source, National Sleep Foundation. Zoom out to see if that's placed nicely in my slide. I think I'm going to align it with my chart. Things aligned are just better on the eyes. I'm going to align it with the left side of that chart. Doesn't matter where the right side goes. I'm left aligning it with my chart. And let's see if we want that to be 20 point. Right now it's 18 point. Let's Control Shift greater than. We don't want it as large as our title. I'm going to bop it back down to maybe 20 point. Again, anytime you're doing a presentation, play the slide to see, is that how I want it to look on my screen? Minor information, not obnoxiously large, the shadow, centering. hit escape to come back to the slide. They actually would like that to be Rockwell, both top and bottom titles. So let's, with that selected, let's control select on this one here, and now choose the font to be Rockwell for both of them. So I select one, control select the other one. Well, why didn't it keep selected? There we go. Select them both, and then Rockwell. It remembers the last or recent font. It's good to, for good quality, is to have the consistent font throughout. Most people don't get annoyed by that, but some of those perfectionists don't like you changing fonts in the middle. And it just looks more professional to not have too much of a mixture of fonts. Now we're going to insert slides from, is it from another presentation? Yeah, we're going to find another presentation and insert slides from it. The problem is I need to go get that presentation where I'm going to attach slides from it. So remember where we were, where we go to get data for those extra data files. I'm going to do a save here just so I don't lose my place or lose any data. Can do a save, and now we need to go get data that was available to us from our data files. Good little practice in our file manipulation. And remember where that is. I'll take you over there. I'm going to go to the cs101 here. Remember where we get data from. Those extra data files are over here under resources, or let's see, make sure I have in the right place here. Oh, I remember. It's in the syllabus, and there's a link there in the syllabus. So I'm going to go to the syllabus, go down to the textbook. There's the student companion site. Head over to there. Go to the data files link there. Here is a file containing links to our data files. And we're going to go to the data files, introductory module, PowerPoint. Data files are right here. Now click on that and download that. And I'm going to put it in a special place just so I know where it is. You can put it in your downloads if you want. I'm going to put it in my cs101 folder just because I have to keep track of things here. cs101 Spring 2024. And I'm going to download that data file to that location. It's a zip file, and now I click save. Now I want to go see where that file is. If I hover over my download guy over here, click on that, I can click on the, if I hover over the file name, I can click on the folder where I sent it to. So even if you don't remember where you sent it, you can click on the download in Chrome anyway. I'm in Chrome. I think you can do the same in Edge. Hover over that file, and I'm going to click the little folder icon, and it puts me right where that file went. And guess what I want to do? I want to right click, extract all. Right click, extract all on that file I just downloaded. And up pops this. Yes, I want to show my extracted files when complete. Often I don't want to show it, and I get it because I don't want to get a bunch of File Explorer windows, but I'm going to leave that checked. Extract those files, and it shows me that I have 3 folders, and let's see what is in that third folder. In that module folder, there is a support PPT. Okay, now that I know where that is, now I can go back to PowerPoint, and I'm going to insert files from this document. Now I'm thinking I might do it the more, I'm going to do it I'd say the more natural way. I'm just going to open that support PPT3 file, and I'm going to copy and paste these extra slides by clicking one, clicking the next one, do a Control-C copy, and then come back to my other PowerPoint here and Control V paste. To me, this is the more natural way of bringing in slides from another presentation. Just to show you the other way that they show in the book that I don't think is terribly friendly, I can go, share how they do it. They go new slide, see what you think of how friendly this is. New slide, way down here, reuse slides. Browse over to where you have those new slides, which I have to browse back over to my location where I downloaded it. There's the presentation that I want to insert it from. It gives me a little dialog over here where I can choose slides to copy over. And see when I click on it how it added that to my slide. I don't think this is quite as friendly, but it allows me to click, hunt for a slide, and instead of copy pasting, just clicking on it brings it over into my presentation. I don't think that's as convenient, but that's how you can also reuse slides. Now I've reused multiple slides, so I can delete my extra ones. I only need these two, so I'm going to delete these. Or I could have done a Control Z undo as well. So now you know I could just open another PowerPoint, copy paste, or insert, new slide, reuse slide. Okay, now that we have those two new slides inserted for us, let's go and see what we want to do with that content that we've been given. This one here, I want to make my first slide. Make it my introductory slide. Now I can adjust it here by dragging it to the top. And that's nice when I only have 4 slides. If I ever want to adjust or sort my slides, I can view slide sorter view and adjust my order of slides here. So I can move this guy around. This is really nice when I have a whole set of multiple slides, especially like for a music presentation. I can quick adjust the order of slides. Often the same song will have the same colors. Really nice to use this slide sorter, especially when my presentation gets large. Go back to normal view now. And that slide, or that picture, doesn't really go well with our presentation, so we're going to want to change that picture. And this slide, we want to make our second slide. So I'm going to click that and drag it up. Now notice here, there's some information I want to keep. I'm probably going to change that picture. Let's adjust our picture now. First of all, we're going to adjust the size of it, and then we're going to change the picture. And I think it looks like they want us to change the picture first, then we'll adjust the size. So with an image selected, I can go to Insert and Picture, and because this is selected, it's going to replace that picture. So I'm going to insert picture, and I'm going to insert it from, are we doing online, or are we going to our, we're going to insert from our PC, this device. I'm going to browse over to where I had previously extracted that. Because it's looking for a picture, it finds in that location where I just extracted that PowerPoint 3 data, it finds the PPT3 support, the lovely sleeping. Oh, I thought it was going to replace that image. I guess we'll delete this one and resize this one. I thought for sure my image would be replaced since it was selected. Not to be. Resize that. If we want a specific size in the book, they say 7 by 11.23. So 7 width 11.23. And adjust it to fit within our slide. More often than typing in a number, I will grab a corner, and you will usually snap to the edge of my slide if I get near it. Before we end this, let's go ahead and do a little bit of cropping and then adjustment. They would like us to focus a little bit more on the gal sleeping. Let's practice cropping by clicking the little crop tool. That won't be available until the picture is selected. Choose the crop tool, and then little cropping handles show up, and I can adjust by grabbing. I usually grab a corner because that lets me adjust basically two sides at the same time. Crop to something like this, and grab this upper left corner and crop to something like this. Once I hit enter, once I hit enter, why isn't that not working? I guess I have to click off of that. Once I click off of that, now that becomes my image. I can reset the cropping, but I can now move this around. There's my image, and we'll be adding some image effects to that and adjusting the colors. We will do that next time. We'll be adjusting our image, bringing in a video, and having lots more fun with graphics on part 2. Do a Control-S, save this, and then we are done. If you want a backup, you can submit it to Schoology as a backup, or drag it to your Google Drive, save it to a flash drive. Backups are really, really good. All right, ending the recording.